To test Hasan in a real-world exercise, we jump back to the Fuzz1001 repository and we do the exercise 3, tcpdump. The aim of this exercise is to find a crash in tcpdump version 4.9.2. But if we open the CVE details, we see that the vulnerabilities is related to the bootp parser in tcpdump before 4.9.2. So instead of using the version 4.9.2, we have to use the version 4.9.1. In fact, if we check the tcpdump repo and we open the list of the commits for version 4.9.2, we can see that there are already some fixes related to the bootp vulnerability. Here, in the second page, for example. So that means that the version 4.9.2, it's already patched for the vulnerability that we want to discover, and we should use a version before, for example, 4.9.1. Okay, so what we have to do is to select a previous version of tcpdump. For example, 4.9.1 is perfect. And read the install.txt file. In particular, this file specifies that to install tcpdump, we need the right version of libpickup. So what we will do now is download the right version of tcpdump and the right version of libpickup. We jump back to our terminal and we create our fuzzing tcpdump folder. Now we can download the right version of libpickup, so 1.8.0, and the right version of tcpdump, that is 4.9.1. So at this point we have the two archives, one with tcpdump and one with libpickup. The next step is to unzip the archives and rename the libpickup folder in a way to don't have the double name libpickup in the name of the folder. In that way it's easier to install tcpdump, and for tcpdump it will be easier to find the right folder for libpickup. Okay, so once we have the libpickup folder with the right version 1.8.0 and the tcpdump folder with the right version, that is 4.9.1, we can start compiling libpickup. So we move inside libpickup and we run configure. And also for tcpdump, we use static linking to ensure consistent behavior across different environments. So we use the flag enable shared no. And now we can finally make it with the J flag if we want to use all the cores. Okay, once libpickup is ready, we can switch to tcpdump. So we go inside this tcpdump folder and we run again configure. This time we use the prefix flag to define where the libpickup folder is installed and where we want to install tcpdump. So again, make. And make instead. If you have any problem during the installation, please read carefully the output. It can be that you need to install some requirements, for example, Flex or Bison. So if you have some problems related to these requirements, you can run the following command to install Flex and Bison. So apt update and apt install. After we compiled our binaries, we can test that everything is running fine. So we can call our tcpdump binary that it's under the install folder bin tcpdump, for example, with the h flag to print the ape. And as you can see, we have installed tcpdump version 4.9.1 and libpickup version 1.8.0. Moreover, inside the tcpdump folder, there is a folder called test. Inside this folder, there are a lot of examples that you can use to test your installation, and that we will use also later as a corpus for our fuzzing. So for example, you can use one of the tests inside the folder to test that your installation it's working fine. So we call again tcpdump, but this time with a lot of flex. So first we use VVV for maximum verbosity. Then we use XX to show the packets in both hexadecimal and ASCII format. Then we use EE to show the link layer headers information for each packet. N to prevent tcpdump from resolving host names and service names. In that way, it's much faster the execution and also the fuzzing, because we don't lose time in resolving host names. And finally, the R flag, it's used to pass a file. So tell tcpdump to read from a file rather than capturing packets from a network interface. And we see that everything is working fine. Before continuing, I think it's important to remark that we are using all the flags in our binaries, because in that way we are using more components, more part of the code. So using all the parameters, all the flags and all the functionalities of our binary, we are exploring more parts inside the code.